What we sound like now? What we sound like now? Let me know. Give me a 1 if you can hear me. I'll just wait for that, and then I'll troubleshoot. Give me a 1, y'all, in the chat. Okay. Renee said you can hear me now. So let me start over then. And when you go live, there's always something that you might forget, and y'all won't believe what that was. I'm not going to even say. But anyway, listen, it's another Sunday. I got a couple of stories I'm gonna go into. Thank y'all for tapping in. So we're gonna go over choosing a real friend. Is a good clip about a real friend. Also, you'll be surprised that African Americans are Black people's buying power, how much spending power we got. And then I'm going to end with some Nat Turner and bring out something about Nat Turner that I'm sure a lot of people did not know. All right. So before I get into it, how is everyone's Sunday going? It's a hot Sunday afternoon, Sunday, mid-afternoon in California, Southern California. It's hot today. I think it might be in the hundreds, right? It may be in the hundreds. How's it going where you at? Black Rain. I don't know, Black Rain, if that's a thumbs up for the volume, or are you saying it's, I know it's hot where you at, Black Rain. I already know. It's a good Sunday. That's right. That's right. Renee Gaines said, is she leaving? She's leaving her slave, and it's hot out there. Ronnie said, it's 96. Ooh, wee. Thank you, Black Rain. Thank you. Thumbs up for the volume, right? Yeah, so I'm going to get into this first clip. All right. And let me pull this clip up since I don't have it queued. I actually had all my videos queued, and then what happened was right before I went live, I accidentally pressed something and it kicked me out of the live studio. So the live studio was still, when you get kicked out of the live studio, it still goes on, even though you're not in it. And so because I got kicked out, what ended up happening is all the videos that I had queued up, I have to go find them now. So let me pull this up.
Got you right now, nigga. Get your shit, brother. I'm James. Get your shit, brother. You got to, nigga. That's your shit, brother. You got to, nigga. That's your shit.
Now this video, it's a dark video, so I'm just gonna let you know what's going on. It's two young brothers that are pulled over, and they're pulled over by the police. And one of the brothers, he has a gun, and when they get pulled over, he puts the gun under the seat. All right, just so you'll know what's going on, because it's dark in this clip. It only shows you the steering wheel at a certain point, and you can hear the officer talking. Okay. Like Rain said, it is still 100+ in Phoenix. Man, I know. I bet it is. I bet it is. I know, like, when it's hot out here in Cali and it's 100, I know places like Phoenix and Vegas and Texas, I know those places are sweltering heat. I know they hot as hell. All right, so I gave y'all the little backstory of what's going on in this clip. Now I'm about to play it.
Got you right now, nigga. Get your shit, brother. I'm James. Get your shit, brother. You got to, nigga. That's your shit, brother. You got to, nigga. That's your shit. That's your shit, nigga. You got to, nigga. That's your shit, nigga. You got to, nigga. That's your shit, nigga. No, boy. No, bro. Don't hide that shit in my car, brother.
Well, why you
don't hide that shit in my car, nigga. That's your shit, nigga. That's not no the fuck my shit, not, nigga.
You just touched it.
No, the fuck because you.
Now, also, this brother has his auntie on the phone. So this was actually smart because he's recording and he has a relative on the phone. You can hear the other brother saying no, and he's telling him to get his stuff. And the other brother said, "You touched it." He said, this so-called friend said, "You touched it." First of all, he won't get the gun out. Then he said, "You touched it." I'm gonna keep playing.
You hiding in my car, brother? Why you hiding your shit in my? Bro, why you hiding your shit in my car, bro? Why you doing that to me, bro? I got a son, bro.
Yeah, you don't do that. He wouldn't do that shit to you.
Bro, why you doing this to me, bro? I got a son, brother. I got a son, brother. Hey, bro.
He's saying, "Why are you doing this to me, bro? I got a son. I got a son. Why are you doing this to me?" He's pleading and he's leveling with him. Like, I got a son. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you trying to frame me? Why are you trying to put this on me?
Do this to me, brother. Do not do this to me, boy. Please, brother. I have a son, brother.
Are they checking? What are they doing?
They just pull me over, that's it. And this nigga just start hiding shit in my car, auntie. That's all they did is pull me over and that's all. And he just start hiding. And he hiding. I got a son, auntie. Auntie. Auntie.
Nobody do that to nobody. He wouldn't do that shit to you. So you need to get your shit and hide it on you.
You can hear the auntie on speakerphone saying, a friend wouldn't do that to you. You need to get your stuff and hide it on you. Speaking to the friend that's in the vehicle. Now they're sitting in the vehicle waiting for the officer to come back to the vehicle.
Why would you hide that shit in my car, brother? Why would you do that to me, nigga? I cannot believe you right now, brother. You really ducked it off under my seat, nigga.
Thursday night for you, okay?
He ain't taking it up.
Cool.
It's just citation for driving while suspended.
Oh my
Okay. I know
God.
you got
Thank
another
you,
one
bro.
pending now.
I just got out of prison, but we don't want to go.
What would you do?
I just got out of prison, bro.
Is it? Do it cost? How much do it cost?
For the citation,
Yes, man.
probably $100 some. Okay. You got to stop driving to get your license fixed. 'Cause I know you got stopped for like whatever that is. I don't know. 5 days ago. All right.
Yeah.
Because I
Even I got my
your car. I probably should.
I got my SR20. I'm going straight home. I got my SR22 insurance and everything.
Okay.
I just picked him up to take him home, bro.
Okay.
That's crazy. Now you see, it wasn't even that type of heat yet. The officer wasn't even tripping, even though he done got pulled over, it said 5 days earlier, right? So this friend, so-called friend, jumped the gun and just started hiding stuff in his car. And when the officer comes up, you can hear him say, I just got out of prison, to the officer. The friend is saying it. The passenger is saying, so he's trying to save himself while throwing his friend that just came to pick him up and take him somewhere under the bus, trying to put him under the jail. Black Rain said, got to be careful who you hang around. My family member got 12 years hanging with the wrong crowd. That's true. That's so real. Like, you got to choose your friends wisely. A lot of times we call people friends that we just have something in common with. They're not even a real friend. When stuff hits the fan, they are not going to be there for you. This brother pleading, in his mind, he pleading for his life. He pleading for his son's life. He's saying, I got a son. Why would you do this to me? At that point, you know, a lot of people wouldn't even have begged. A lot of people would have probably started teeing off and fighting him right there. Then he would have had a reason to search the car. The police would have, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people would have been like, you know what? At that point, just get out. Get out my car. After that, he should have been like, get out my car. He shouldn't even took him wherever he was dropping him off at. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so messed up. And to go to jail over something like that. And it just shows you how a lot of these young brothers is just scared. You just scared all around. You're scared of other black men, so you carry a gun, and you're scared of the police, and you're scared of any circumstance that you're willing to throw your mama, your brother, your sister, your cousin, anybody up under the bus in order to save your tail. You know what I mean? In order to save your tail. There's something else I wanted. I'm trying to remember. There's something else I want to say about this. But while I think about that, let me grab this. Grab this real quick. This scripture. Right. This is from Ecclesiasticus 6 and 7. It says, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. What does that mean? That means, like I said, a lot of times we credit and give people love that we call our friends, that we have things in common with, that we like to do the same thing. And this thing is what makes us friends. And because we grew up together and we went to the same school together, and that ain't enough. That ain't enough. You know what? When you find out who your true friend is when you're going through some adversity. That's when you find out who your real friend is. When you're going through some things. And a lot of times what ends up happening is the people that you didn't even know cared about you are the people that show up for you. And the person that was your boon coon, your ace, your day one, that person turns on you, or that person is not there for you. And then you know who your real friend is. You can't just be crediting people as being your friend. Renee said, I bet they ain't friends anymore. I hope not. I hope not. I hope they're not friends anymore. You know what I'm saying? I would agree. I bet they ain't. But you know, a lot of times we don't know what a real friend is. Your real friends are the ones that show up for you when you're going through adversity. Your real friends are the ones that wouldn't put you in a situation to where you're not gonna see your kids no more. But that's the street codes. The street codes say, don't say anything. Just take the rap for me. Hell nah. Hell no. I'm not taking the rap for you. And you get in somebody's car and you don't tell them you got all kind of stuff on you and guns. And then when you get pulled over, you want to put it under the, put it and hide it in the car. No, be tough. Be tough. You thought you was tough. Now be tough and ride with the decisions you made. When you get pulled over, go down like a soldier. Go down like the soldier you think you are. You know what I'm saying? Go down like that. Go down being real. Like you so damn real. Y'all be acting like y'all so real until the cops pull you over. You be acting like you so real until you have to actually be an adult and walk in a place and be professional and talk to people and look them in their eye. You be so hardcore. You be the biggest, baddest killer there is. Until you got to do basic adult things. Right, Rodney. Stand up. Don't stand down. Don't stand down now. And you know what? There are people like that. When keeping it real goes wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's true, Black Rain. There are people like that. There are people that when they live a life, they know they doing wrong. And when they get caught, they go down and they take their charges and they take it like a man. You know what I mean? They like, you know what? I wouldn't be in this situation if I didn't make this choice. So I'm gonna ride with it. You know, it is what it is. This is the consequences of my actions. I can't be mad at nobody else. There are a lot of people like that. So I'm not just saying, everybody that's in a situation like that, they crumble and they fumble. There are people like that are stand up in whatever they do. But this is jacked up to, put that brother in that situation. He damn near was about to cry to his auntie on the phone. Like, I got a kid, auntie. I can't do this. And obviously the brother that's the passenger, he says it like, I just got out of the prison. And it's clear that this cop is not really tripping like that. He not really tripping because he says it. He says, you got pulled over for the same thing 5 days ago. It's just going to be $100 to pay it, this citation. And the passenger dude says he's free enough to say, man, I just got out of prison. Give us a break. I'm guessing he's saying it in that way. I just got out of prison. He just got out of prison, but he didn't learn no lesson because he got out of prison and holding a pistol already, needing a ride. And you don't know like how you put, like in this situation, friends and family members, your grandma, your grandfather, your mother, you put other people that don't know nothing you got going on. They don't know what you're doing in the streets. You put their lives at risk. You put their freedom at risk. I don't want to go too off, y'all. But the point I'm making is you have to choose your friends wisely. Right, Black Rain, the cop wasn't aware of the issue. Yeah, they jumped the gun. The friend jumped the gun, meaning he could have just sat there and not listen. When I explain this, that I'm not saying that I agree with his actions, but he could have just sat there, not said anything or said what he had to say to the cop and kept the gun on him. Just sat there. He's so scared, he jumped the gun, meaning he taking everything and trying to hide it in the car while the police went back to his car. And the police wasn't even on that type of time. The police didn't even suspect nothing like that. The police was like, this is good enough. I got, I'm going to go back. I'm going to run it. This is a citation and I'm going to give him a citation. I'm going to give him a ticket. The police wasn't even on that. But what that situation did was expose that he wasn't his real friend. Whatever he thought about him, he did not think the same about him. Whatever he thought it was not that. Let that be a lesson to a lot of y'all, brothers and sisters. Whatever you think it is with someone, it's probably not even that when shit hit the fan. There's plenty of stories. That sister that went out with her so-called friends to Mexico, and then the video came out with them beating the hell out of her, and she died out there, and they still can't get answers to this day. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody is not your friend. You know what I mean? Rodney said he ready to go back. Yeah, he ready to go back because he has not learned. Obviously, he not learning nothing. Deandra said, definitely would have to get out my car once the police pulled off. Yeah, that friendship should be over. Like Renee said earlier, she said, they not friends anymore. I bet they ain't friends anymore. Yeah, you would have had to get up out the car. You know, we would have cut off. I would have cut off all communication. You is not the homie anymore. I can't depend on you. You don't care about me or my children. You don't care. You just don't care. And you got to be smart with who you decide that's going to be your friend, because when you become a friend with somebody, what's the saying? Birds of a feather flock together. When you become a friend with somebody, and this even extends to like relationships, now you taking on the same energy that they own when they're not around you. See, I have brothers, and I have brothers, or you can call them friends, but brothers, right? I'll say brothers, right? That I know how they live. I can predict what they would do in a situation, and vice versa. They can predict me. And so I'm clear, and I feel good that I can go somewhere with a brother. I can do this with a brother. I don't have to worry about whatever he got going on when I'm not around him coming and affecting me. Like the police, he's on the run from the police the whole time. You know, we doing our thing. We at a restaurant, or we doing something, and they pull up and, you know, point guns at us. And now you all up in that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I said it goes with relationships too. You know, I think, what was that situation, I believe, with Breonna Taylor? I believe they came to her house looking for the boyfriend, right? I think a boyfriend that she wasn't with anymore. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But it was her association. It wasn't even her. You know what I mean? A lot of times this happens to people's grandmas, sisters, kids, you know, where people come and retaliate, and they don't have nothing to do with what you got going on. They don't know all the stuff you doing in the dark. They don't know all the enemies you got across town. They don't have nothing to do with it. So what I'm saying is, like, you got to know the people that you are friends with. And if you don't, that's on you. That's on you. You got to know. Renee said, yeah, it was the ex-boyfriend. You got to know who you dealing with. You know what I mean? But anyway, we're going to get to the next topic. All right. Just be careful of the friends that you choose and the people you call friends. Everybody ain't a friend. So I want to talk a little bit while I get this other video. Talk a little bit about the let me see. Deandra said, back in my 20s, went out to the bar with a sister I thought was cool. There was another sister at the bar she had beef with, all her family. This dang girl was talking loud and talking mess and thought I was going to fight with her. LOL. That was that was my last time hanging out. Our last time hanging out. Crazy. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Now you done got me in some mess, man. I ain't got nothing to do with that. And a lot of times you see a lot of stuff like that on social media sometimes, and people say, well, why didn't he help him out? Or why didn't she help him out? It probably was a situation like that. Like, I don't know what you got going on. These people are not my enemies. Like, no, I'm not finna get jumped for you. No, I'm not finna get shot for you. No, I'm not finna take the rap for your gun and go to jail and leave my family for you. No, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's wise to get to know a person and know what type of person you call on a friend before it gets that deep. All right. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the FBA. Foundational Black Americans. I hear this a lot, and I really don't know the origin of it, but lately I've been seeing a lot of brothers. That's what they claim. All right, damn, that sounds like gangbanging, but that's what they say that we are. That's the identity, right? Black Rain said, Khan, I had to fight 8 YNs in the military. Damn. I had to fight 8 YNs in the military because my partner was drunk talking mess. That's crazy. I can imagine that was wild. That's wild. 8 YNs, and that's a hard one to get up out of, That's crazy. Yeah, with this I'm gonna be brief with this, but the foundational Black American, like that's something very recent, and I don't know who created it, but I hear a lot of people, content creators, using it as an identifier for Black Americans, for Black people in America that came through the transatlantic slave trade and their contributions to America. Black Rain said FBA is just lost sheep. What I was going to get to is that what I see, I don't see it as a nationality. It's not an identity. I don't see the difference between FBA or calling Black people African Americans. I just don't see it. What we need to find is our identity. Who were our ancestors? See, here in America, here in America, we have Black people have an identity crisis. And so over the time that we've been here, we've been called darky, we've been called colored. Even now you have people use the term people of color. We've been called, what is it? Afro-American, African-American, Negro. The list goes on of the identifiers of the names for Black Americans. Black, typically, when a person says Black people, typically people know you're not talking about Africans. You're talking about Black Americans, right? But that identity crisis is we just invent new labels over time. Like I believe Jesse Jackson came with the African American label, if I'm not mistaken. And now you have FBA, and we don't have, we're not looking at what did our ancestors identify, or even the culture in West Africa that our ancestors had, in order to understand who we are. Okay. I don't see, I guess an FBA person would have to tell me what benefit does being a FBA have over an African American? Because I don't see no benefit. I don't see no difference. You know what I mean? Does the FBA want reparations? Well, I think African Americans want reparations. I think Black people want reparations. So is it just a label, an identifier? Is it something where we can sit at the table of the United Nations and get some real respect? These are some questions that I would have. I would have questions like that. What is the benefit? What is the what's the other word? Not benefit. I'm trying to remember. What is that? What would be that word? When you benefit a little more than someone, it'll come to me. Maybe y'all can help me out. But yeah, when it comes to this FBA stuff, okay, you're FBA, but does that tie into a new moral code? Are Black people now going to do things totally different? Or are we still doing the same things as Black people under the title of African American or people of color? These are just some questions that I have for FBA. What is the benefit? What makes it better? what you know, and a lot of these questions I'm asking are questions that I already have an answer to, but I'm posing them to FBA people who are strong on using that term to describe Black people in America. And I'm not taking away from Black people's accomplishments, because we have accomplished a hell of a lot in America. Hell, America wouldn't be standing if it wasn't for Black people. You know what I mean? So don't get it twisted that I'm taking away from what FBA says as far as the accomplishments that Black people on this soil, because I see a separation where FBA's, it's like they're separating themselves from people in the diaspora as far as the West Indies, like Jamaica and Brazil and Haiti. And they say Black Americans right here. Now, I understand when you separate yourself, those people, from Africans, because I know we're not the same people. I totally understand that. But then it's like you want to separate yourself from even the people that came on the boat, but just went to different places. Deandra says, wait, Black Rain. Where am I at? Okay, I'm sorry. Black Rain said, Khan, there's no difference than African American. Martina Truilo says, Shalom, greetings. Shalom to you. Black Rain says, give it 20 years and it will be something else. You right about that. You are so right about that. Deandra says, it sounds as though they are looking for validation for building America. Black American doesn't have anything positive attached to it. Just my guess. Okay. That's a good analysis. Rodney says, what are the customs of FBAs? That's what, you know, I've only heard the thing about them being different than, you know, it's more of focus on Black Americans on American soil versus the other people that came from the transatlantic slave trade. So it's just focusing on them, and, you know, that's all I really hear. You know, I don't know. That's why I'm asking these things. What is the benefit over saying that you're African American versus FBA? You're the same people, you just with a new title. You know what I'm saying? That's my perspective, how I see it. And I could be wrong. Maybe there's some plan, maybe there's something. But what I'm also saying is that it is not an identity. Like when you look at, you know, nations, we're not, as Black people, in order to find who we are, we got to go to the roots of the problem, of the issue. Our identity doesn't start with coming on slave ships. Also, you have some of them that say this. They say, well, slavery happened, but not all of us came from slavery. We were already here, which I am not ignorant to the fact that there were groups here already in American soil. I'm not ignorant to that. It's just that you have this ball of confusion when it comes to identity, and out of one of those is FBA. And I'm just trying to understand what is the goal, what is the focus of? Because when I look at West Africa and I look at the customs of the people in West Africa that came on the transatlantic slave trade, what I see is Israelite customs more than anything. So if we're going to find an identity and give ourselves labels, I feel that we should be using historical proof in history to find out who we are. We've been here and we've gotten this education from America that says you're this, you're that. And out of that, we're making new labels, which just adds to the confusion, and it doesn't really collectively change what's going on in our communities. That's why I said, is there some morality, a plan of morality, a law or something under this guise, this new philosophy of FBA? If it's not, then it's no different than being an African American. So I didn't want to go long on that, but yeah, I wanted to pose that. Now I'm going to play this video. This is a video. I can't remember. Y'all, I know plenty of people are familiar with this podcast. I can't remember the name. It's like the 8 on the table, something like that. One of those relationship type podcasts, but they're talking about something else. Black Rain said, the world don't mind us calling ourselves anything but the children of Israel. Then it's a big problem. Black Rain, you be hitting it out the ballpark with your points you be making. That is exactly true. Like, you could be anything and there's no pushback. You say that you're God's chosen people. You say that you the real Jews. They like, oh, hell nah. These niggas is crazy. These niggas, like, black people can even say they're, the Egyptians, even though we know Egyptians were Africans, they were Hamites. Mizraim came from Ham, Noah's son, right? We know that they were. You could say that. You could say, black people can say anything. You say that you God chosen people. Oh, it is a problem, and it gives you you see what they did with Kyrie and what they done with Kanye. Even though Kanye was off and on and crazy, just saying something like that almost made the earth turn upside down. Like, they do not like you to claim that you're God's chosen people, and they say, how could these niggas be? How could these be the greatest people that God created? I mean, it shows in everything that we do. It shows in our resilience. It shows in the fact that we're still here with everything that's thrown against us. And I'll go into some of that stuff, like the fact that you'll be surprised at the buying power and spending power that we have compared to other countries. It's just going to shock you. But you're right on point with that. Let me get what do I want? Okay, where I'm at. I got to find a clip. Like I told y'all, I did not have this stuff queued up, and I like to have it. Okay, y'all got it.
Fairy tale. These could wipe poor people off the planet and not do a day in jail.
Oh, yeah.
They not even gonna think about doing a day in jail.
You think that they about to shake your hand and do business with you and use the economic approach and hire a couple of the minorities or
you present value? Yes.
No, it's not. At the end of the day, you're still not valuable, because if you were valuable, they would have already seen you as valuable before. They see you as a resource that they can utilize but never respect. It's a big difference.
What do resources have? Value.
Okay, but
what are you talking about?
Is it a respected value where I'm going to allow it to be
I don't need them to respect me, Rico, to do business with them so that my family and my lineage can excel. I don't need them to respect me. You can't.
So who they're talking about is white people. And, sometimes it's crazy. You hear black people talk in circles and you don't know who they're talking about, right? And it's because, let's be real, there is this level of, it's like a psychological fear of offending like white folks. And of course, for content creation, you don't want to offend white folks. You don't want to offend, the people that run YouTube. You don't want to offend the people that run Facebook and Instagram. So you got to mince your words and say things in a way that people got to guess, who are you talking about? Well, these two brothers are debating about whether or not, well, the one on the right, he's basically saying, like, we could fight our way to being equal, basically in a carnal way, fight America. And the other one is saying, no, we can do it the way they did it in Black Wall Street. Like, we just do business with them. And, he just made a good point that I don't have to, they don't have to like me for me to do business with them. Like, which is, I agree with. You don't have to like, people don't like people. Americans shake hands with China, but they don't like each other, but they still do business with each other, right? I'm gonna play a little more so you get a little more understanding of where this is going.
Can't tell me that black people today are not further along than where they were in yesteryear. You cannot tell me that. My nigga, and you 30.
I can tell you this. The last time and all the times that we tried to use a financial approach where we were owners, they have already proven to do something to stop it. So
what he's talking about is like Black Wall Street and the many black towns. Whenever we built something economically, they would destroy it. they would stop it.
What I'm saying is that your fantasy has already been proven wrong. So what I'm
100
saying
years
is,
ago.
it don't matter. They'll do
Hold
it.
on, hold on,
They
hold
will
on.
do it today. You
Hold on.
just said.
Wait.
You just said they will wipe you off the face of this earth and not do it.
Using your approach, which is violence.
Using your approach too.
So they're both at ends. So his approach is about building economically. The brother on the left, building economically like Black Wall Street. The other approach is the brother with the Kango, or with the what you call those hats? With the hat on. He's basically saying, like, through fighting back through violence. So both of them are saying both of their ways would fail. They're saying, and he's saying it already failed. Black Wall Street, building economically already failed, meaning the white man destroyed it, right? Here's the thing, when it comes to both of the arguments that they're making, okay, as Black people, if we want to fight back, first off, Black people have to understand that our weapons are not carnal. Meaning, what are you saying at the wall? I'm saying that we cannot get revolution by picking up arms and guns and trying to fight our oppressor. That is not going to work. You've seen this during the George Floyd riots, where you had that militia that rose up, led by Jam Master Jay, or whatever his name was, right? Where they were carrying guns. There was about 200 of them. And now you don't know where they at. My point is not that we can't defend ourselves on a personal level, or defend your home or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, as a nation of people, to go up and try to fight these people who own all of the guns, who make and produce all of the guns. Black people don't even produce guns. We don't even have companies like that manufacture things like that for warfare. You know what I'm saying? So that would be, if you're trying to take that approach, you will put a lot of Black people in jeopardy. A lot of Black people that can't fend for themselves in jeopardy. So we can't be carnal about going about fighting back against our oppressor. When it comes to Black Wall Street, yes, that happened. But what Black people never did was turn to the Lord and try something different. Anybody could be an economic genius. You got them on YouTube. You got all these people that know how to do economics and know how to build wealth and do all of this. That's not fixing our people. You know what I'm saying? That won't fix it. Like, the economic wealth was not ever the issue. Being able to do for ourselves was, I'm gonna get into that with our spending power. Being able to, produce was never our issue. You know what I'm saying? That never had nothing to do with it. But there's one thing we have not tried today that would fit, that would put us on an equal playing field immediately. And that would be to literally separate, to spiritually separate from America. I wonder how many Black people that's talking like this, blackity Black people, Black conscious people, FBAs, all these people, I wonder how many of them on Friday went and celebrated the 4th of July. But you talk this revolutionary talk. You talk this talk, but you don't walk the walk. You can't let go of your oppressors' holiday. That's the least thing you can do, is let go of your oppressors' holidays that was given to your people when we were in chains. We was in slavery. And I'm sorry, I ain't even been looking at the chat. It says, Black Rain said, MLK knew this when he said he led us into a burning house back in the 60s. He knew it. We can't win carnally. He in jail. They claim he pointed a gun at a police at Breonna Taylor rally. Oh, the brother, yeah. the brother that was leading the militia. Deandra said, anytime we have rebelled against the white man, not only were the ones who actually rebelled were killed, but also hundreds of other black men and women and children. Yeah, we'll get in that. That's what happened with I'll get into it, but that's not how it's going to happen. We need to do something revolutionary and radical that we've never done. And believe it or not spending your money on a holiday is revolutionary and radical. You'll start to see your pockets have more money. But see, you cannot talk about wanting to go against your oppressor when you're still loving his ways of life. And when I say ways of life, I'm talking about stuff like alternative lifestyles. And I'm talking about holidays. And I'm talking about the things that you know deep down inside that are wrong, that his society says are right. You can't say that you want to buck up against that system, the same system that you loving. Come on, man. Makes sense. Makes sense. And he made a point about not having to like them. Like I said, the Chinese have a Chinatown in America in every major city. Overwhelmingly, Chinese people are not running to no voting polls. You got some Chinese Americans that are Americanized, yes, but I'm talking about the core, them real Chinese people that are here doing business, living, sending money back to China. They have their own sections of cities, but yet they do their own thing. They're not involved in what goes on in America, even though they're here. It is a good example of what separation looks like within America and still thriving and existing. Because the first thing the Negro's mind will go to, well, how are we going to survive? Where I'm going to get my electricity from? Where I'm going to get my water from? Where I'm going to get this from? That's because we are so much of slaves here in America as Black people. If you say something like we need to separate, the first thing that's going to pop up in their head is, well, I'm going to survive. When you see other groups of people from other countries in here, they're not celebrating the holidays. They're not voting. All they're doing is living how they want to live and paying bills and paying rent and surviving. Other than that, they don't care about what's going on in America, but they're here. So why can't Black people do that? See, that would be revolutionary. It'd be revolutionary for you to go to work, give your service to get paid, not celebrate nothing, no holiday they got going on at work, not go out with none of those coworkers that be on some other stuff at work, and mind your business. That's a microcosm of how Black people should now exist in America, given we done seen that they don't care. They look at us as second-class citizens. We have enough receipts and records and videos to show what they think of us, even to this day. Anyway, you know, I'm off of it. I'm a move on. All right. What y'all think? Yeah, on a lighter note, the building next door, the people moved out, and you know how it is. Some little things tried to move in over here. And yesterday we was doing an interview, and one of them scurried across the floor, and I stepped on it. And I'm like, oh, he wanted to get in the interview. He wanted to tell you about how life is down under. I said, nah, I gotta do this. You know, when I see, if I see a bug, if let's just say if I did see like a rodent or something, I turn into a straight exterminator. I get traps. I get sprays, I get bait. I just can't rest until it is gone. I'm like the T-1000. He will not stop until you are dead. Like, I will not stop. I'm telling you, I'm a ride on you. I'm a ride on them until the sun burn out. Until the sun burn out, I'm a ride on them. You know what I mean? You is not finna exist in my presence. I mean, almost made me think about that. Remember that old movie? It was like Joel's Apartment. Was it Joel's Apartment where he had roaches and they was like his homies? Like, nah, I ain't none of that. You ain't chilling here. You gone. You getting obliterated. You was done. You done for. On a lighter note, listen, I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it authentic. Don't act like you ain't never had to kill a roach. Don't act like you ain't never had to kill a rat. Niggas, we from the hood. You know, I done looked them right dead in their eye. I done seen a roach so big, I wanted to pull a gun out on them. Like, nigga, where is you? Who told you to be here? You breaking in and entering. What is you doing? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just like, it ain't nothing wrong with it because, you know, that's another misconception. Like pests and stuff like that is only in the hood, only in poverty-stricken areas. No, roaches be in mansions too. Rats and roaches be, everywhere. It ain't no place where they won't go. Damn, I think a roach could survive in Antarctica. They be hardcore. I remember drowning a roach. I sprayed it so much. I thought he was dead. He rose from the grave, started taking off running. I said, damn. I said, I don't know, man. Maybe the stuff they make in manufacturing now, y'all done built some immunity to. On a lighter note, you know what I'm saying? I had to go in on that. Like, I was like, oh, hell nah, man. Next time, that's why I said, you know what? I got to make sure I am not going live. I will not be live in a roach, a bug be on the back of the, behind me in the background. Like he want to be on Black Authentic Truth. Like he want me to give him the mic. That ain't gonna happen. That's crazy. Yeah. Let me give it. All right, y'all. Let me. That's funny as hell. Yeah. That's funny as hell. Let me get this next clip. Matter of fact, that's what I want to go into. I'm gonna go into our buying power. All right. So let me pull this up. So Black people's buying power, our spending power, is $1.6 trillion. $1.6 trillion. That's how much we produce as Black Americans in America. Now, I'm going to pull this up. Let me drop this. Share this screen. Now, in comparison, these are countries that are under $1 trillion. All right. These are countries that are under 1 trillion. Let me make it big. And Kazakhstan, 99 billion. United Arab Emirates, Belgium, Ukraine, Peru, Singapore, Algeria, Switzerland, Sweden, Chile, Ireland, Austria, Czechia, Ethiopia, Hong Kong, Norway, Israel, Portugal, Angola, Kenya, Myanmar, Hungary, Denmark, Greece, Morocco, Uzbekistan, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, Qatar, Ghana, Finland, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Belarus, Guatemala, Cote d'Ivoire, Azerbaijan, Congo, Democratic Republic, Kuwait, Bulgaria, New Zealand, Panama, Slovak Republic, Serbia, Nepal. You get the point. You get the point. Black people produce more money than countries, whole countries. Ain't that crazy? We produce more, Black Americans produce more money in America than other whole countries. You see all those countries I just named? You never looked at it like that. Like we literally are a country within a country. We are a nation within a nation. And like they were talking about building economic wealth, our problem ain't even money. Obviously, our problem is not money as Black people. We're not unified. We don't, more importantly, we don't have an identity. We don't have a state or a republic or anything like that. But most importantly, we don't have an identity. We don't know who we are. We don't have nothing to stand on other than in America, we're standing on so many different things. And many of these Black people identify as a Black American. But within America, we are a people unto ourselves, and we produce $1.6 trillion a year, more than I think it was more than 30 countries that I just named. I didn't name them all, but that's crazy to think about. You know, but without the moral compass and without the regulations of laws and things to follow, morals to follow, all of that money don't mean nothing. We can't cohesively come together. It don't mean anything. You see that? I never knew that, but it doesn't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. It's spectacular. It's, you know, it's an amazing thing. I never would have thought. But in essence, we could literally have our own country. We are doing better than a lot of countries as Black people, and Black people are the 13%, the people who are the poorer people in America, but still better than all of those other countries. So could we make it on our own? The question posed that, could we survive on our own? Of course we could. Of course we could. I said that what I was saying, I don't know if it was the last live I did. I was talking about how I was talking about reparations and how money ain't the issue anymore. Like, we're destroyed as a people. We got dysfunctional families, and those broken homes create broken people. And this has been going on throughout generations. So if we was to get reparations as a people and everybody got a check, that check is not going to fix the damage that has been done to Black people. It will make life more convenient. It'll allow you to do things, yes, but with the mentality that a lot of us have, money is not the fixer-upper for us. In fact, a lot of us are drug addicted and have, or do things, or addicted to doing other things. And so that money would just, increase, that demon. It will increase you buying more drugs, increase you going to the strip club more, you know what I mean? Buying more hoes, buying more prostitutes. It will not fix us. At this point, the damage is done. So the only thing that we can actually do is fix ourselves from a spiritual place, through not just spiritual, but, therapy sessions and things of that nature. That's how we get fixed, because money is not the issue. Now, money can pay for, going to therapy and, things of that nature to help with mental health and help people learn new skills and how to deal with anger management and stuff like that. But money in general, come on, man. That money gonna be gone. That money gonna be gone. It ain't gonna come together. You see, right now, without reparations, we are a people that's richer than a lot of countries. We bringing in more money than a lot of countries. That when I said Switzerland, I said, damn, Switzerland sound like it's, fancy, like it's like somewhere nice to live, in Europe. I didn't know that black people bring in that much money. It's crazy. That is crazy. Like if we was to just get a piece of land, she said, imagine if we were unified with all that money, we would be unstoppable with the Most High. Oh my goodness. Just get out the way. Now take that money, that $1 trillion, give black people a piece of land. Give black people one of the states. Give us one of the states. We all move there. And because this is funny, while I have this point, let me see. Let me get this real quick. This is another good one. It's going to go into what I'm saying. Maybe I'm looking for a map. So 47% of American land is unoccupied. That's what I want to go into. But give us a piece of land. It don't have to be a state. Or it'll be within somewhere. There's a lot of land, uncharted land in America that no one lives on. Give us that land and just let black people fend for themselves. But that could never happen. Right? Because this place would rather black people be destitute and be broken how they are right now. You see, when we start getting unified and we start coming together, we do become a threat. We do. That's verified, certified in the history. When we are cohesive, we're all together, we're on one accord, and we're working together, we are considered a threat. We are not considered a threat where we're infighting and we're Democrat, we're Republican, we're Christian, we're Muslim. We're not unified. You know that by how they looked at small groups that were unified, that came together. But we would become public enemy overnight. Imagine how many, if you had a black world like that inside of a white world, imagine how many spies the CIA and FBI would be sending to infiltrate that world and figuring out ways to destroy that world, whether it be by, coercion or drugs, different ways that they have done in the past, ways to destroy us and break us down. They would be terrified and they'd be wondering, are these people plotting against us? Are they linking up with our enemies? Are they doing this? They're doing that. You would see the true colors of white America. I mean, you have with Donald Trump, but you really would see the true colors and the real spirit of your oppressor. So I'm not saying that it can't be done, but just imagine a place like that with the amount of money that we produce. We would be unstoppable. We would be we could be self-sufficient in no time. And you don't think that other countries would want to deal with African Americans? Like, get out of here. Get out of here. I seen the videos where black people go over there to like China or somewhere like that, and they're like a celebrity. And the people just follow them around and just like ask them like, did you meet Eddie Murphy? Did you you know, and sometimes they think they're a superstar, and you just like, damn, people are starstruck by regular average black people. Maybe because they don't see them and they only see them on television, but still, like these people would be open to doing business with black people. You know, it's just a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought. When we are on our own, it is easier to see we are superior. We would surpass Esau, Moab, and Ham and everything in little time. You know, but the next component to that would be laws, statutes, rules, morals, you know, something that right now is real shaky in our community. You know, we don't really stand on nothing like that. We believe in them. We understand them. We agree with them. But when it's time to enforce them within our community, we don't stand on it. We say to each his own. You know, let least, you know, it's not our business. That's how we are. We real frickle with standing on righteousness in the black community. Therefore, everything we build, although it may be great, and we talk about building communities and we talk about unity and all that, it can't stand without the righteousness behind it. It just can't. It's not going to stand. It won't, you know. Anyway, let me get to the next video. And everything is tying in together as I'm going, okay? Let me drop this screen share. Let me see. I got two more videos. I got one more video. We'll talk about Nat Turner, and that'll wrap everything up. And then I'll have a video to end with on the lighter side, because the Nat Turner video is not light. I'm sorry, the article. Let's get it.
Tell y'all something, right?
Let me see.
So I want to tell y'all something, right? So they kidnap your ancestors. And down the line, your ancestors produced you. Now you still in the hands of your ancestors' kidnappers. So what does that make you? A hostage. We still prisoners of war around this motherfucker. Everybody should be mad. So I want to.
So she said, basically, we are the descendants of our ancestors. Our ancestors were brought here as slaves, and then they had children, and here you are today. So what does that make you? It makes you a prisoner of war. You're in captivity, and you don't even know it anymore. The reason why Black people don't know they're in captivity, and let me just say, this sister is smart. She is smarter than most. Most people would not even think about this. But in the truth, we know that we're still in captivity. Now, some people will say, you can leave. You can go here. You can do that. As an individual, yes, you can go on a trip. You can go on a vacation. You can move to Africa. You could do a lot of things as an individual. But as a nation, it has been tried before. Marcus Garvey tried to do that, and they sabotaged Marcus Garvey. He tried to get Black people to go back to Liberia, right? And that's a whole nother story in itself. When Black people was going back to Liberia, they were getting into fights and wars with the native Africans who didn't want them there. Let me say that again. When Black people was going back to Liberia, they were getting in quarrels and fights and battles with the Africans that did not want them there just because they were Black. I should go into that one, at a later time. But we are in a spiritual captivity. And what I mean about that is we don't even know that we are locked in America, or we don't even think like we want to try something different, like what we just discussed, coming together as a group of people under righteousness, rallying to have our own area to live, and governing and policing ourselves. We don't even think like that. We only have one train of thought, which is, how am I going to survive away from my oppressor? How are we going to produce water? How are we going to produce electricity? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Because for this whole time after slavery, Black people have been like children to white America. What do you mean by that, Thawal? What I'm saying is, we are more focused on, having a good life, pleasure, rather than the serious things. We leave that to white folks. We let the white folks deal with the serious things in war and dealing with other nations and sitting at the United Nations. We're worried about what makes us happy, what makes us feel good, the day-to-day as Black folks. And that's how it's been for generations after slavery. We're in a spiritual captivity. We're prisoners of war. We're children of, we're scorned children of America. That's what I'm saying. You're a hostage and you don't even realize it. And people say, well, we're free. We're free. You're not in physical change. You're not physically locked up. No. And if you say a person is free, then I'll say, well, in order to do something, you want to go somewhere, you have to have an ID. You have to have a passport. There are checks and balances for you to move around. This is all people, of course. It's not just Black people, but I'm saying you are spiritually capped in captivity in your mind as a group of people. It's almost like it's a curse. It's almost like it's, supernatural or something, of why we can't snap up out of it and why we don't think outside the box. If someone thinks outside the box, they might call them, they might say they're preaching hate speech. If somebody says, all you Black people, we need to come together, we need to come sit at the table, we need to first take everything that we believe in that is different, and we need to compare it to one another, and we need to scrutinize it, and we need to find out what is the truth, what is going to fix us, what is going to be the thing that is going to govern us. First, let's take everything we believe in, get every ideology, every philosophy, every religion, and let's put them to the table and let's put them to the test. Then get all the scholars and let's bring out the history of our people and where did our people come from and or originate from, and what were they doing in these places? What did they call themselves? And develop the structure for what we are going to follow. I mean, we can do it, but we ain't never did it. Why? Because we're spiritually in captivity, still in America, free in the body, but slave mentally. Slave mentally, free in the body. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all don't want to hear this. You think you're a lot of y'all don't want to hear this. You want the world to go on as it is, and you don't even care that it is world war going on the other side of the planet. Russia has a ballistic missile that could reach the mainland of America in minutes. America has that defense system, like they have in Israel. They thought it was indefensible. They thought it was they call it the Iron Dome, and couldn't nothing get through it. But then Iran fired multiple missiles, and some of them did get through. Well, America has a similar defense, but they only have 34 of them. So if they was to shoot all of these missiles at America, only 50% of them will be stopped. The point I'm making is that you know, at any given time, things could pop off in this world. But black people, because you're the children, you've been the children of America. You've been the you know, you let the white man handle the real, you know, heavy stuff. And, you know, because of that, and you just love pleasure, you just love having a good time, you love enjoying yourself and enjoying life and going on trips and being on TikTok. Because of that, you don't want to hear the truth. You go right back to sleep. 2 weeks ago, the world was on high alert. But black people, you go right back to sleep. You're like a lion. You are a lion. You're the king of the jungle, but you're a lion that is like this. And then a minute later, you lay down and go right back to sleep. That's you, black people. That's you. You go right back to sleep. And then when you have people that's telling you the truth, that's trying to wake you up, that's, you know, educating you, you don't like that. You want to watch fight videos and you want to watch girls gone bad and, you know, love and hip hop, and you want to be entertained with garbage and shit that cannot benefit you, cannot help you, and keeps you sleep. There's some real life stuff going on right now, and don't get blinded by you know, celebrities and social media and all of that. Learn something. Open your damn eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your mind. Open your mind. And I said that. I said, it's sad. It's sad to say, but it's going to take a catastrophe in some cases for black people to like wake up and really want to know, what is our purpose here as black people? What is the purpose of all of this? There has to be something better at life. This can't be life. Why is this happening now? Why is the world about to end right now? Why I can't stop smoking weed? What is wrong with me? Why I'm not doing what I said I was going to do as a child? How did I get stuck in this life of selling drugs and doing drugs and being a prostitute? I don't know, y'all. I'm just talking. Maybe I'm talking to someone. Maybe I'll get through to someone. But we are still in captivity. Not only are we in captivity, it's not so much as physical as it is spiritual, because everything I just brought out prior shows you that we have the resources to make changes, but we don't have the unity, and we don't want to be righteous as a people. And we can't keep going on saying, well, why is this happening to us? Well, why are they doing us like this? Protest, 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 and never ever look at ourselves and say, okay, maybe we need to do something to change us. Instead of looking at our oppressor to change how he treats us, maybe we need to look at ourselves and say, we need to change. Maybe that is the factor that ain't never even been thought about. All right. So I'm going to talk about Nat Turner a little bit. Okay. Let me drop this. All right. Now there's this book. I don't know if I can pull it up. Can I screen share this? This is on Kindle. Now this book, I'm going to be reading from the book, The Delectable Negro. Some of y'all that know, you've read it before, or you know about the book. Excuse me. Now, Nat Turner. All right, let me see if I can. Okay. So I'm right there. All right. Screen share. All right. Smooth this. Okay. Now, Nat Turner was born in October 2nd, 1800. Many of y'all heard of Nat Turner. Nat Turner was an enslaved black carpenter, and he was a preacher who led a 4-day rebellion of both enslaved and free black people in Southampton County, Virginia, on August 1831. Nat Turner's rebellion resulted in the death of 55 white men, women, and children before state militias suppressed the uprising. At the same time, 120 black men, women, and children, many of whom were not even involved in the revolt, were killed by soldiers and local mobs in retaliation. Remember that thing I said about these militias going about it that way? What you're going to end up doing is you're going to kill a lot of people, but then you're going to lose because you don't make the guns, you don't make the bullets, you don't make none of that. And then after that, you're going to have so many black men, women, and children that they're going to take their anger out on, just like this with Nat Turner. It says when he was captured in 1831 and after his trial, he was executed. Before his execution, he told a story to Thomas Ruffin Gray, who published the Confessions of Nat Turner in November 1831. Now, also, I believe it was 17 men with Nat Turner. They all were beheaded, and then they put their heads on display to scare black people to not revolt again. Also, Nat Turner's his head was missing, his skull was missing. Let me see. So I'm going to read some excerpts from the book. Okay. Just bear with me. Let me get this. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's graphic. It's not pictures, but I thought that I had actually notated it. But you know what? And maybe I'll read it in a video moving forward. All right. So this book goes into the fact of homoeroticism, white men in infatuation with black men at the time. You had stories such as they would cut off a man's genitals and make him eat the genitals while he was alive. Also, I'm going to read right here a little excerpt from Nat Turner. It says, the subject of cannibalism during slavery was difficult for Black people to talk about in the 1960s. In some respects, even more difficult than it was for Black people who lived through slavery. This difficulty had in part to do with Turner's dismemberment, his missing skull, and the coveted money purse made of his skin. So Nat Turner was beheaded. They could not find his head. I believe, not too long ago, his skull was in the possession of some white man, and he returned it to Nat Turner's family. And the family allowed for the Smithsonian to hold his skull for a while. Okay, they also made a purse out of his skin. They also boiled his skin down and made grease for consumption. It says, examples of the bestial description in his article, writes Kaiser, are his unnecessary, gruesome explanation that the doctor skinned Nat Turner's dead body after he was hanged, along with 17 other Negroes, and made grease of his flesh, and the lurid details in his novel of the killings of whites by Negroes. So this is what happened. They ate Nat Turner. They used his skin to make wallets and purses. They took his skull, his head, as a trophy. For many years, it could not be found. It was missing, right? And it just shows you the level of bestiality and cruelty and heinousness that these white folks felt towards Black people, towards a revolutionary like Nat Turner. That's how they felt towards him, as far as him being a symbol of hope to Black people, because what he did what, white folks feared would happen to them, which is just being slaughtered for their cruelty and their inhumanity in slavery. Now, Nat Turner, he got to that point because, remember, he was a preacher. But Nat Turner got to that point because he read the Bible and he had visions, and he started to look at it like, okay, we're like the Israelites and white people are like the Egyptians. And I'm just waiting on a sign from the Lord to take vengeance on these people. And he did what he did. And today, about Nat Turner. They don't talk about Nat Turner in Black History Month, but everybody knows about Nat Turner, his revolt. It is iconic. They made a movie, I believe it's called The Birth of a Nation, about Nat Turner, right? Which is, it's one of those movies that are, have you at sometimes angry, and at other times, a little heavy on the eyes, you know what I mean? But a lot of times Black people talk about, they talk about revolution, and they talk about fighting the oppressor and doing this and doing that, and they'll say, like, okay, especially all of these different groups, they say, well, the Bible ain't real, the Bible ain't this, the Bible ain't that. The Bible was written by a white man. The Bible was, you've heard it all. Now, their greatest heroes, Nat Turner, Marcus Garvey, Toussaint Louverture, Malcolm X read and quoted from the Bible. These people are pioneers, revolutionaries, radicals that people that you can't find black people today like that. Very rare. You won't find a person like that that has that ability and that capacity in the 21st century. And you say, well, these things about the Bible, but Malcolm X quoted the Bible. Everybody knows when he said, we're in a strange land. We're in a strange land. We've been here for 400 years. He quoted it right out the Bible. The point I want to make about this, and I think I made the point about how grotesque and how, vile and inhumane and evil white people were by doing the things they were doing to slaves and mutilating their bodies after they were dead. But the point I want to make about this is that these revolutionaries read the Bible to be revolutionary. They didn't read the book of Ma'at, the 42 laws of Ma'at, or the book of the dead to be revolutionary, to do something radical. You see, you can't, all of that tough talk about revolution and all that, you can't muster a revolution without the knowledge of the Bible, you can't build up the strength to fight back. Black people today can't even build up the strength to say something that will offend white folks. You talk around in circles. And you want to talk about revolution? You want to talk about fighting back? Like, come on, what are we talking about? Your great leaders, these people that I mentioned, all read the Bible, including Nat Turner. And he came with the physical strength to fight, to really actually fight back. And here you are talking about FBA, and you talking about Hotep this, Hotep that, and we the original man, and we're this and that, and that Bible is fake. That the white man wrote that. Well, what do you got that will muster up the courage and the bravery to stand up for your people and fight the oppressor and fight back? What do you got? I think I'm gonna stick with the Bible. I'll stick with the Bible. At least I have the heart to tell a devil to his face he's the devil. At least I'm not afraid to tell an oppressor he's an oppressor and tell him about his history. At least I'm not afraid to offend someone just because I'm saying the truth. But y'all afraid to do just a little bit of that. Maybe you'll get the courage and the heart from the Book of the Dead. Maybe you'll get it from the universe. I don't know. Maybe you get it from burning sage. I don't know. Far as I can see, it's not doing a damn thing. But Nat Turner, he believed in the Bible. Yeah. The same Bible you say the white man wrote, Nat Turner took that and seen something and it said, listen, we are oppressed people. We ain't supposed to be getting done like this. These people are acting just like the Egyptians, and we like the Israelites. Now, I'm not saying go out and be foolish and do something. Look, Nat Turner he wasn't successful. So I'm not saying that. But in order to have some heart to say what needs to be said and fight back and not be oppressed and not be afraid and not say to each his own, you're going to need something that's going to put that in you. You know what I mean? Until then, show me what has put that into any of you Negroes that claim all of these different philosophies to actually say what is the truth and say what needs to be said, not just to your oppressor, but to your people too. I don't care if you don't like what I say. Long as it's the truth. It may come out rough. It may not come out smooth, but you got to ask yourself this. is what the brother's saying, is it real? Is it truthful? Is he making a point? Okay, it's not about me, but I do know some people that he's talking about. If it's the truth, you can't go against it. Sometimes we got to just sit there and think like, damn, I don't like the way this dude said that. And it feels like he's attacking me. But wait a minute. That makes sense. You know what? That's what you call adulting. That's what you call being an adult. That's what you call being emotionally mature. Saying, okay, I didn't like the way the person said it, but I can take from that, because that point is universal. That point where they said it's the truth. You know what I mean? And we got to stop basing things on how we feel. A lot of people feel certain ways about what is going on with our people. You feel how you feel about the Bible. I understand why Black people feel the way they feel, because Christianity is a religion. That is a man-made religion. But Christianity ain't even what's in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Christianity is basically the worship of white Jesus. So if you're going to worship a God that don't look like you, you might as well still be a slave to the people who don't look like you. So I don't rock with that. I rock with the fact that the people that come out of the area of Jerusalem were Black people at the time that Christ was walking. That Abraham, Moses, King David, these was Negroes, these was niggas, these was Black men. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about our ancestors that came from West Africa that practiced Judaism. And when I don't want to say that, let me correct that. That had the customs of the Israelites that are in the records. You read the records of Israelites, of Black people that went on the slave ships, that tell you what their life was in West Africa before they got kidnapped by other Black people, Africans, and sold to white men. I rock with that. I rock with the solid history that is in the record, not my feelings. Because I can feel a lot of different ways, but you can't feel against what's written in stone and what the records say, what the historical record says. You know what I mean? Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get to this last video, and then we'll get up out of here. Let me remove this. Stop the screen. Video file. Now this is on a lighter note, okay?
How to do all this stuff?
I built bridges.
Now, before I go into this, this is from a Facebook page called What You Making, Daddy? So it's called What You Making, Daddy? And his videos highlighting it's a woman and her father, and he's always making something, right? So that's the back.
Daddy,
story.
where did you learn how to do all this stuff?
I built bridges. Built bridges for 20 years. 20 años, Tony. 20 años. 20 years built bridges. So.
And then where'd you learn how to do stuff like this?
YouTube University. YouTube University. There is nothing anybody in this world should say, oh, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. YouTube will show you. They damn near got the playing field even.
And what else did you learn from YouTube?
Just about anything that I can think of, YouTube has the answer.
Okay, so get on YouTube.
That's right.
Daddy, where did...
So I'm playing this video because he is so right. I am a graduate of YouTube University, y'all. Let's clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. I graduated YouTube University. I am a graduate of YouTube University. Listen, I'm an alumni. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you the different stuff I done without no knowledge by just looking at some tutorial on YouTube. I mean, I done did drywall. Let me think. What's some stuff I did? I done did drywall. A car. Listen, you would think I'm a mechanic. I done literally I done had what? Okay, 1, 2, 3. I done had like 3 cars. Okay, one time I had just got the car, right? And I had my mind that I wanted to change the interior. And my neighbor walked by one day and I was sitting in the middle of the car. I had took out everything. I had took out the seats, front and back, and I had took out the carpet because I wanted to change the carpet from like a tan to a black, right? And I'm sitting there with the doors open, like just sitting around. They like, damn, you just got the car and you done already tore it up. And at that point, I felt like a tweaker. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, damn, I'm not on drugs. I know I'm not on drugs, but I looked around, I was like, damn, it's pieces of car everywhere. But I did it, you know. I had another car where I took basically the engine apart. I had no knowledge or understanding of cars until I got cars. And then I was like, you know, I would rather do it myself and save money than, you know, go to a shop. And I remember taking the car apart, putting the whole coolant system on, just, you know, fixing all of those things that go bad over time. Because we're talking about used cars. So, you know, you got to replace gaskets and things like that and stuff that would fail. I remember putting a drive shaft in my car. Just all kind of stuff I've done, I've learned. Hell, I made some banging oxtail off of YouTube watching the video. You know, like Jamaican style oxtail with the butter beans and, you know, like it's just so much stuff. So I felt this video when I seen Pops. He was just like, yeah, man, they done damn near leveled the playing field because you got people that really do these things as a profession. But if you have a person that's focused on wanting to learn something and they watch the tutorials, you can almost get to the level of a professional almost. And you never went to no school or nothing. Of course, it takes time. It takes time. You got to have free time to watch something. But if you really want to do something, just recently, I soldered my keys. So my key is one of these keys where it takes a battery, one of those batteries, and the battery had died, right? And so I had to cut the key open. It's either you pay $400 for somebody to make you a key and program it, or what you can do is you can open your key. You can open it. You have to cut it open, take the battery out, but you gotta like solder the battery out, right? Because it has 2 connections. You hit it with the little heat soldering gun, and it loosen it up so you can pull it out. Put the new battery in, solder it with some soldering, right? And this is some knowledge I didn't have, and that cost me $12 for the soldering kit. $12 plus $10 for the battery. So let's just say $25 to fix my car key versus $400. Now I drive a 2003 vehicle. My car is a 2003, so it's an older car, but I've had it for like 5 years, no problems, because I graduated YouTube University. You know what I'm saying? I graduated YouTube University. I redid everything that needs to be redone as far as the things that fail. I did my research on my car. What fails? The coolant system fails. So I put a whole new coolant system in it, did it myself without no help. Yes, it's trial and error. Yes, when you get up under an engine, it is not like looking at a video, it looks so easy. You get up under the engine, you got to use, you know, some monkey grease. You got to use a little bit of little muscle, you know, on some stuff. But other than that, I was able to do it. You know what I mean? I was able to do it. And listen, anything. And there's plenty of things I've done that I can't remember right now off the top of my head that I've done literally by just going on YouTube and saying, okay, how do I do? Typing it in, how I do this. When it comes to this computer stuff, this live stream right now, I wish I could turn the camera, right? This live stream, I had to, I watched videos on, first of all, I watch videos on how to set up a live stream, what to use, what kind of cameras to use, lighting, all of that. Everything that looks good, that you look at my setup, right? And if you ever thought that my videos look crisp, I get a lot of compliments on how the video looks crisp and all that, real crisp and clear. It's because of the lens that I'm using. I'm using a portrait lens, and a portrait lens is very, very sharp because it's made to actually take portraits of people. And these portraits to get blowed up and printed out. So I'm using a portrait lens for that. And I'm using the lighting, the backlighting, 2 lights, floodlights. You know what I'm saying? But I learned all of this on YouTube. I didn't know this stuff. I didn't know like how I'm going to do this stuff, how I'm going to put it together. I don't got the money to pay nobody. So I had to learn myself. But you got a wealth of free knowledge on YouTube. I don't want to talk too much, y'all. I ain't going to talk too much. I'm going to wrap it up. All right. Because I'm hungry. I'm hungry about right now. I was talking about some oxtails. I don't think the place is open today. So, I got to figure something out. Right. Anyway, y'all, let me, I'm gonna wrap it up by just giving y'all some shout outs. All right. And let me get a video file real quick. Anyway, let me give a shout out to, because I know a lot of people came. Well, the same people who's been in here though, commenting. I'm gonna start from the top. Hey, Rodney, shout out to you. Appreciate you. Sister Barantanawa, shout out to you. Black Rain, my main man, always rocking with me. Shout out to you. Renee Gaines, always here. Shout out to you, sis. Let me see. Deandra, always up in here. Shout out to you, sis. Excuse me. Martina Trujillo, shout out to you. And peace to you also. Wait, am I tripping? No, I'm not. I think that's about. No, I think it's one more person, another name. I just had that. Oh, this Quadash Rib. Shout out to you, sis. Always up in here. And I don't want to miss Ron Coleman. Shout out to you, man. Peace to you. Also. Ricky said, I just got right here to the end. Ricky Rebel Manor, the color conservative. Ricky, for real? Ricky, well, we're not even talking about Trump, man. You gotta stay on topic. Did you read the topic? Or are you just watching for a minute? I don't know. Damn. I don't care what Trump done did, man. Can Trump cook some oxtails, Ricky? I'm just playing. Anyway, yeah, man, I'm out. Listen, man, make sure you watch out for. I'm probably going to try to find some more information. Also, I forgot to talk about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was an Israelite, and that's confirmed by her family members today. We also have a brother in our school in the ISUPK, Captain Debar Amaf, who is a blood relative of Harriet Tubman. But I'll go into that at a later date, man. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank y'all for being up in here on Black Authentic Truth Live on Sundays. Y'all stay safe, stay out the way. Peace. I love y'all. And we up out of here. All right.
it.